Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Ted Rollins. Glad to have you along with us on this busy Monday. We want to get you right to Nashville, Tennessee, where opening statements have just begun in the state's case against Travis Reinking, accused of killing 4 people at a Waffle House in 2018. Here we go.
No one was expecting it. None of the 22 people that were in the path of Travis Reinking at the Waffle House at 3571 Murfreesboro Road, none of those 22 people were expecting the mayhem and destruction that Travis Reinking had planned for them. Now, about 10-15 minutes earlier at that Waffle House, there weren't near as many people. There were only 10 people inside just a few minutes before. That Waffle House location was actually new. There was another Waffle House further down Murfreesboro Road that was always extremely busy. Several of those 22 people actually went to that Waffle House first and decided to go to this new location. And in those early hours of 3 a.m. on that Saturday night, early Sunday morning, April 22nd, 2018, there were only 6 customers that had been in the Waffle House. There was a couple, Lawrence Wells and his girlfriend, Amaya Harris. They're sitting on the far side of the restaurant. This Waffle House was set up just like every other Waffle House. You walked in, there's a long counter with a bar. To the right, there are 3 booths and the bathrooms. You go to the left, there are 3 booths, and then you could go behind the counter where the cooks and the employees would be. So Lawrence Wells and Amaya Harris, they're over on the left near that kitchen entrance. There's a booth right next to them, a married couple, Brittany and Matthew Cordova. They're sitting there. And all the way across the restaurant, there are 2 friends that are sitting together, Trayvon and Garth, Mike Garth. They're there just having a good time with their friends and loved ones. And in those early morning hours, more people start to arrive. Aquila De Silva, him and his older brother, Abede De Silva, they show up. They're with their girlfriends. They had been out that night. Aquila is with his girlfriend, Shantia Wagner. Abede is with his girlfriend, Alexis Lane. And Abede will testify as well as Shantia, and they'll tell you that they actually were tired. They had been out that night. They were tired. They were hungry. They just stopped to get some food because they were ready to go home. And actually, Shantia Wagner will testify, and she'll tell you that she didn't even want to go inside. She was so tired. But she had actually never eaten at a Waffle House before. And so she didn't know what was on the menu, and they said, come inside and find something to order on the menu. The 4 of them, they sat in chairs with their backs to the parking lot as they were waiting for their food. D'Ebony Groves and her best friend, Sharita Henderson. Sharita was actually older than D'Ebony. They were like sisters. They were actual sorority sisters, but they were so close that they were like sisters. The 2 of them show up, they walk in, they actually go to the bathroom first, but then they sit in that first booth, kind of right by the front door. The 2 of them, they've been having fun. There were sorority events that whole weekend, and they're making jokes. And Sharita Henderson will testify, and she'll tell you that they were actually singing Jesus Loves Me as they sat down and were looking at the menus. That was just something that they did. DeMarcus Wiggins, he comes in out of the parking lot, and he's standing there by the jukebox waiting to order because now it's really getting busy. You'll also hear from Kayla Shaw. She was there with her 2 cousins, Chelsea Owens and Alexis Peebles. Alexis and Chelsea, they stayed in the car because, again, at this point, they're tired. They just want to get some food because everybody's kind of ready to go home, but they were hungry. And they sent Kayla Shaw in to pick up their to-go order. You will see Kayla standing there. She's wearing a pink shirt. She's standing right there at the bar. And she's standing there just waiting for her food. And then you will see there are 5 employees that were working that night: Douglas Lauderdale, Wanda White, Virginia Stanley, and there are 2 cooks, Michael Shaw and Torian Sonderland. You'll see a moment where Torian, he goes to walk out to take his smoke break. And I think it's right before Torian walks around, you'll see Amaya Harris get up from her table, and she walks to the bathroom. Travis Reinking arrives at 3:19. 3:19 and 30 seconds, he pulls into that back entrance and drives into the parking lot. He's already there. When Travis Reinking pulls in, he doesn't park in just any spot. He parks right at the front. He parks in a handicap spot right at the front door where he has a view of everything. 2 walls of the Waffle House are floor-to-ceiling windows, so he can see everything. He sees that moment when Amaya walks to the bathroom. He sees Torian walking. Now he sits and parks in that front handicap parking spot, and you'll see Brennan McMurray pull in his white Jeep. You'll see his friend James Shaw Jr. pull in his red truck. They park, they get out of the car, and again, they're friends, they're together, they're having fun, they're cracking jokes as they're walking into the Waffle House. And they see Travis Reinking in the truck sitting there before they go in. The 2 of them come in and they're seated at the bar. You'll see Amaya walk right past them, and you'll see Torian walk out the front door to take his smoke break. And James Shaw Jr. and Brennan Murray will tell you that they were just having a good time. They saw Michael Shaw, the other cook, he kept stacking plates up on a shelf, and he was stacking them so high that they were joking because they thought that they were going to fall. And it's at that moment that outside, that another person that wasn't planning to be there that night, Joe Perez Jr., 20 years old. He's from Texas. He had only been in Nashville for 4 months. And he wasn't there to eat. He wasn't there to have fun. Something was actually wrong with one of his tires. And he pulls in right by the Waffle House sign. And he's outside of his car trying to figure out what's going on with his car. And it's right at 3:23 and 50 seconds that Joe Perez Jr. goes to walk into the Waffle House. And as he walks by Travis Reinking's car, you will see Travis Reinking grab an assault rifle out of the front seat of his truck, and he immediately points it at Joe Perez Jr. He fires at him multiple times, no hesitation at all. He strikes him 4 times. One of them strikes Joe in the neck, the left side. One strikes him in the left back, one in the right shoulder. And the 4th strike is a devastating head injury that shatters his skull. You will see surveillance video and you will see that Joe Perez Jr., he immediately falls to the ground. Immediately. Unable to move. And you will see Travis Reinking fire another round at his body on the ground. Travis Reinking does not hesitate 1 second. He takes the rifle, and Torian Sonderland, who actually has begun to run towards Travis Reinking, he aims and begins shooting directly at him. Torian quickly changes course and runs down the sidewalk away from him, running for his life. But he doesn't make it. He is struck 7 times. 7 times, twice in the chest. You will hear from the medical examiner in this case, and he will describe to you that one of the gunshot wounds to Torian's chest had stippling, which indicates he was in close proximity, as if he is running towards the shooter. But that all of his injuries, 2 gunshot wounds to the chest, 2 to the back, he's struck in his thigh, he's also struck in the neck, and again, he is struck in the head with a devastating gunshot wound to the head, and he immediately falls to the ground. 7 gunshot wounds. Travis Reinking fired 15 rounds in 19 seconds outside. And again, he does not hesitate. He immediately goes inside. Immediately. You will see it 3:23 and 52 seconds. You will see one of the bullets strikes the window in the front of the Waffle House. Kayla Shaw, the girl in the pink shirt who's standing there at the counter, you will see the glass shatter and come straight at her face. That is the moment where everyone runs for cover. Aquila De Silva and Chantia Wagner, they run to the left where the booths are, towards the kitchen. His brother Abede and Alexis Lane, they run to the right. James Brennan, Michael Shaw, James Brennan and James Shaw, Mike Garth and Trayvon, they all run into the bathrooms where Amaya is. Travis Reinking, when he walks in that door, Kayla has literally dropped to the floor, injuring her side at the moment that glass blew in. She is laying with her face towards the counter, and she is playing dead. Travis Reinking does not go to the left. Go to the left around the counter where the employees would be. He does not go that way. He does fire that direction as he sees Aquila and Chantia Wagner scrambling on the ground, running for cover, trying to get under a booth around something to get away from him. He sees them and he fires at them both and strikes both of them. But he does not go left. He doesn't go to where the employees would be. Travis Reinking immediately goes to the first booth where the customers are. He goes to Sharita Henderson. He goes to DeEbony Groves. These 2 girls, they drop to the ground. They're hiding under the table, lying on the floor. And Sharita Henderson will testify, and she will tell you that she looked him in the eye. He looked right at her, and he fired at her and shot her. And she was trying to cover her friend, but that was not possible. There is not room for that to happen. Sharita is struck 3 times, and her friend DeEbony is struck twice. And Travis Reinking makes a choice. He does not stop. Travis Reinking then turns to the right. He's headed to the bathrooms. This is a dead end. There is no space there. There are 7 people who are cowering, and they have nowhere to go. He does not pause 1 second after he has shot Sharita, shot DeEbony. He immediately fires into that area, and you'll see the bullet hole in the glass in that door. And you will hear from James Shaw Jr. He will tell you that he is on the other side of that door and that he hears the whistle of a bullet that goes by him. He's actually struck in his arm. But then he hears a pause. And he's looking out that small window. He hears that pause. He looks, and he sees that Travis Reinking has pointed the rifle down. James Shaw Jr., in that moment, he makes a decision to take that opportunity, to take that one moment opportunity and seize it. And he uses the full force of his body, and he forces himself through that door, forces himself into Travis Reinking, knocking him back. And James Shaw Jr., he grabs a hold of that rifle, even though it burns his hand because the barrel is hot, and he does not let go. He struggles and wrestles with Travis Reinking. He pushes him back, and he overpowers him. He grabs that rifle and throws it over the kitchen counter as far away from Travis Reinking as he can. And he doesn't stop there. He continues to wrestle with Travis Reinking and manhandle him to get him out of that Waffle House. And he is able to push him out the door. And you'll see that as he's pushing him out the door, that Travis Reinking starts to come out of the green jacket that he has on. The two of them struggle together until they get to the corner of the Waffle House. James Shaw Jr. goes right back behind the Waffle House, and Travis Reinking runs the other direction. The other direction, which just happens to be in the direction where he lives. You'll see that James Shaw Jr. run, and then he stops, and he goes back. You'll see him get into his truck, and he actually drives and pulls up right in front of the Waffle House. And you'll see him standing there with his door open, because at that point, no one really knows where he is or if he's coming back. And he'll testify and tell you that he starts yelling his friend's name. Brennan McMurray, his friend's nickname is BJ, and he's yelling for BJ. You'll hear from Abede Da Silva. He was in the bathroom with those 7 people. He comes out, and he first goes outside, and then he sees his little brother, Akila, inside. So he runs back in. And he sees Shantia Wagner, his brother's girlfriend, and she's screaming, and she's bleeding. She has a devastating gunshot wound to her right leg. There is literally nothing holding her leg together from her ankle to her knee except for a small strip of skin. He finds his brother, Akila, who was still breathing. He's still talking. He had been calling for his name. And he sees that he has a gunshot wound to his right shoulder. And he's trying to figure out what to do, not understanding that what he doesn't see is that Akila also has a gunshot wound to his right side. And that gunshot has perforated his lung. Abede will describe that at some point his brother Akila could not talk anymore. And the last thing that he said is, "I can't breathe." Dr. Deering will testify, and he will explain to you about the injuries that Akila suffered and that his lungs would have been filling up with blood and he would not have been able to breathe. Now, Akila Da Silva was transported to the hospital, Abede having no idea how serious his injuries were. But even the life-saving efforts of the doctors, he was pronounced deceased at the hospital. Shantia Wagner, she will describe that devastating gunshot wound to her leg, that she is bleeding. She'll explain that she initially called 911, but the operator just kept asking her for the address, which she didn't know, and she got frustrated, and she decided to call her mom. And she'll describe that excruciating pain that she was in. She'll describe looking at her leg that wasn't there. She'll describe that she got transported to the hospital, and it was actually several days later before she even learned that her boyfriend, Akila, had not survived. And she'll describe to you the months that she was in the hospital, that even today, what she goes through with treatment. And she'll describe that process that the doctors basically had to rebuild a leg for her. Her injury was so devastating, the doctors had to call in a military specialist that was used to dealing with people with IED injuries because it was as if she had stepped on a bomb. You will also hear from Sharita Henderson. She will tell you about lying on that floor. She will tell you about her gunshot wounds. She was also shot in the leg. Her leg was half blown off, breaking both bones in her lower leg. She was also shot in her upper forearm with the bullet exiting out the other side. You will see her scars. Dr. Deering will testify and explain to you what damage this type of high velocity injury does to the human body, but you will actually be able to see it on Sharita's arm. That she's also shot in her right arm near her bicep, and that bullet goes into her chest. And as she's lying there on the floor next to her friend Diebony, who she knows is not alive, that at one point she actually calls out, "I'm not dead." Because she knows that anyone that saw her would not know that. You will hear from the first responding officers who responded to the scene the devastation that they found when they got there. You will hear that after they were able to treat all of the victims from inside, that they located Mr. Reinking's truck because it was still parked there in that parking spot. And they were able to determine his address that was very close by. They went to his apartment, and they learned about Mr. Reinking. That he had just moved to the Antioch area a couple months before in February is when he got that apartment. He was a 29-year-old crane operator from Illinois.
Jan Norman is assistant district attorney in Nashville, and what an opening, taking the jury through what happened. We're going to step aside, take a break. We're going to pick it up right where we left off. Stay with us. Welcome back. When we left off, the Assistant District Attorney, Jan Norman, was detailing to this jury the incident at the Waffle House in 2018. Now she's talking about tracking down the defendant. We're going to return right where we left off.
They learned that he didn't have many friends. He was a loner. He had a family, but didn't have much contact with them. And the apartment they learned that not only the gun that was used at the Waffle House, but that he owned 3 other guns. They found 2 of them, both bolt-action rifles, both incapable of firing 30 rounds within 29 seconds. And they found a case to a 4th gun, a Kimber .45 caliber handgun. They found the case, but no gun. Now, during all of this, the ID officers that respond to the actual crime scene, they immediately find the green jacket that Travis Reinking's wearing. It's right there at that intersection right where you see him on the video run towards. And in the pockets of that green jacket are 2 additional magazines to the Bushmaster's XM15 assault rifle that Travis Reinking chose to take to the Waffle House that day. Both of those magazines were fully loaded with 30 rounds of hollow point ammunition. The detectives will tell you that they found a 3rd magazine in Travis Reinking's bathroom, that there was some blood on the floor. They also found an empty box of .223 hollow point ammunition in his apartment. They also found his iPhone. That was left there, not taken. You will also hear about the law enforcement response to this incident. Sergeant Polk will describe to you the enormous resources that were employed in an attempt to locate Travis Reinking, who ran from this crime scene. He was not at his apartment. There's a .45 caliber handgun missing, so he was assumed to be armed and dangerous. And he will tell you about the resources from the Metro Nashville Police Department, but not just the Metro Nashville Police Department, that they had assistance from pretty much every agency that exists, from the TBI, the FBI, the DEA, the ATF. There were Secret Service assisting. There were other local law enforcement outside of the county that were assisting, that they gave a media release to the public with information of be on the lookout for this person. There are hundreds and hundreds of law enforcement officers looking for Travis Reinking, along with the public is looking for him. They are having to shut down schools and put them on lockdown, and they are searching everywhere. There are wooded areas by that Waffle House, and they are searching everywhere. And you will hear that Travis Reinking was able to evade them for almost 34 hours. Now, when Travis Reinking showed up to that Waffle House, he chose not to wear any clothing other than that green jacket that carried the 2 additional magazines, the 60 additional rounds. He fired 30 rounds at the Waffle House, 15 outside, 15 inside. That moment that James Shaw Jr. was able to seize, he was out of ammunition. The empty clip is right there where James Shaw Jr. struggled that rifle away from him. That green jacket held his 60 more rounds. But when officers ultimately located him, Officer Kyle Williams will describe to you that they were in the woods. They got a tip from a citizen that they thought that they saw the person. And he's in the woods. He hears crunching. The team has separated so that they can try to determine if this person is the suspect they're looking for. They will describe to you that in those scenarios that they have a code word that they say, so they can call out the code word, and if they are going to encounter somebody else on the team, they would know that it's someone from their team instead of the suspect. So he calls out the code word, and there's no response. And then he sees Travis Reinking behind a tree. And he has his firearm pulled on him, and he tells him to come out. And he'll describe that Travis Reinking made a motion with his arm, but he came out behind that tree, and he put his hands up just as Officer Williams had directed him. He told him to put his hands up and to get down on the ground. And Travis Reinking did exactly what he said. Officer Williams will tell you that he directed him that if you move, I will shoot you. And Travis Reinking responded, I won't. When Officer Williams found Travis Reinking, he was dressed. He had on a t-shirt, jeans, shoes, and he had a backpack on. And you'll hear from the officers that located him that they first put him in cuffs, even with the backpack on. They found his wallet and his ID that was on him. In his pocket, he also had a
We're just slipping
loaded...
a quick break here. We'll get the conclusion of the prosecution's opening statement in Tennessee versus Reinking right after this. Stay with us. Welcome back. 32-year-old Travis Reinking accused of killing 4 people at a Waffle House in 2018. His defense team says that he's criminally insane. They pled not guilty on his behalf by reason of insanity this morning. Let's get you back into the courtroom for the conclusion of the opening statements from the state of Tennessee, who contend that he indeed knew right from wrong when he murdered those 4 people.
In his pocket, he also had a loaded .45 caliber clip to the .45 caliber Kimber firearm. They cut the backpack off of him, and inside that backpack, they immediately see that Kimber firearm. It is loaded with a full clip. There is a round in the chamber. It is ready to fire. Also in that backpack is a holster for that gun, a flashlight, a multi-tool, several bottles of water, and there's also 10 silver bars in that backpack. You will hear testimony during this trial that those 10 silver bars were purchased on April 10th of 2018, and they were picked up at Nashville Coin and Currency in Brentwood on April 20th of 2018. The detective's investigation will also reveal that Travis Reinking purchased those magazines in those days before this shooting. Those 3 magazines to fit his Bushmaster's XM15, the one that's on the bathroom countertop and the 2 that were in his jacket, those 3 were new. You will also hear that they located a BMW key fob to a BMW X6 that had been stolen from the Brentwood BMW dealership on April 17th, and that they learned that that vehicle had been recovered from his apartment complex. The detectives that were involved in his apprehension will testify, and there were several that were involved in transporting him. They will testify and describe to you his demeanor, how he was acting. And they will describe that he was calm. Officer Williams, will say, the very first person to encounter him, will describe that he was calm and resigned. Ladies and gentlemen, the proof in this case and the evidence that will be presented to you is that Travis Reinking made a choice. He made several choices that led to the shooting. He decided what time to go. He went on a Saturday night at 3:20 a.m. to a Waffle House when it would be at its busiest. He chose not to wear clothes other than a green jacket. He made that choice. He chose which of his 4 firearms to take with him. Chose the one that had the highest capacity magazine. He chose to buy additional magazines for that weapon, and he chose to take 90 rounds of ammunition. He chose that parking spot where he could see everything. He chose to fire upon Joe Perez Jr., someone who wasn't inside the Waffle House, who was parked in a parking spot. He chose to fire upon him first. He chose to fire upon Torian Sonderland as he ran away from him, and he made a very specific choice to not go to the left, not go to where the Waffle House employees would be. He chose to go to the right where the customers were. He chose to go to where there were 7 more people. He chose not to stop. The evidence presented to you during this trial will be that Travis Reinking went there to take something that couldn't be given back. He went there to take lives. The evidence will be that this was an act of revenge done out of anger. The evidence will be that Travis Reinking took Joe Perez Jr.'s life in an act of revenge, that Travis Reinking took Torian Sonderland's life in an act of revenge. He took Aquila De Silva's life in an act of revenge. He took Ebony Grove's life in an act of revenge. Their families cannot get them back. And Travis Reinking did this to punish them. And at the end of all of the proof, we will ask that you return a verdict that he is guilty of all 16 counts of the indictment.